guys, it's Boki here from Gigi's Fabric Shop and home of Juki Junkies, and we have a fantastic video in store for you guys today. We're going to be doing a very detailed video on the comparisons and the cosmetic differences and all the stuff you need to know between the Juki TL models. So today we have the Juki TL-2000 QI, the 2010 Q, and the 18 QVP, or better known as the Haruka. We're not really going to be doing an in-depth unboxing video today. We already have one on how to thread it and how to wind the bobbin and all that good stuff. So we're going to link that in the bio for you so you can watch that whenever you feel like you need to. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and unbox these and get right into it. So you need to know what's best for you and in making the right decision for yourself. So let me go ahead and unbox these and let's get into it. Wow, okay, that was quick. So here they are all side by side and let's get into it. So I'm gonna cover the similarities between all three machines before we start talking about what makes them all different. There is a fantastic chart on our website that we have put together for you guys. It's a comparison chart. It's directly on Juki Junkies. We have this kind of for all of our models, so we'll link that in the description for you. So I'm gonna use this as my little cheat sheet for you guys today. So what all machines have in common is that the body and the skeleton is the exact same on all three machines. So you have an 8.5 inch throat on all of them, going up to 6 inches, which is pretty significant for most machines. They don't really have this big of an opening. Another really nice feature that all machines have in common is this really nice sleek shaved head. So you have nice visibility when you're doing bags and quilting. You can roll your quilts up really nice and easy. The body is all aluminum, so it's nice and heavy. It's not going to vibrate on you. These machines sew at a speed of 1,500 stitches per minute, so they mean business. These machines are only straight stitch mechanical machines, so they don't provide anything like a zigzag or a buttonhole. They just go simply forward and backward, and that's across the board for all three. And the maximum stitch length that you can do on this machine is 6 millimeters. So let's kind of zoom in real quick and see some of the buttons and features that we have here. So here is like the TL-2010 per se. This is something you're going to have on all three models. You have this nice giant dial, so you can easily change your stitch length all the way from 0 to 6, as I just mentioned. We have our thread cutter on all of the machines. This allows you to cut your thread when you are finished sewing. You have your needle up and down button, so that way you can put it up or down when you're sewing, before or after. You have your reverse lever right here, which I love that it's nice and big, super easy to find instead of searching for a smaller button. And then down here you have your feed dog mechanism, so you can drop those for free motion quilting or put them up when you are sewing, of course, to make contact with the machine. Now, I'm going to get into speed control in a little bit just because that's not something that all three machines share in common, but those are all the similarities. So now that we've gone over all the physical similarities, let's talk about the similarities that they have in accessories and what is included with all three models that you see here. So some of the things you're going to get that all of the models share is the knee lifter. So the knee lifter is the mechanism that allows you to raise the presser foot up with the action of your knee. Next up, you're going to get a little pack of needles. You're going to get this black screwdriver that's going to come in really handy. You're going to get 5 bobbins, a little lint brush, a little bit of oil, but this is not going to do you justice. You're definitely going to need more oil because she's a pretty thirsty machine. And then you get this little spool cap, your T-screw, which is phenomenal. Guard this with your life. It'll walk away on you. You do get a foot pedal, of course, and the power cord. All machines come with that. Really cool thing about this foot pedal is that when you heel click, when you press down on the heel part of this, it's going to trim the thread for you. So you can either trim it with the heel click or you can trim it on the physical machine. You do get a little dust cover, so you can just throw it on top of the machine when you're not using her so it doesn't get super dusty. And I think my favorite accessory that they all come with is this beautiful long extension table. So you can just slide this on the machine, still access your bobbin really easy, and that comes with all three. And the only physical accessory extra presser foot that you get with all three of these machines is your even feed foot. So this is your walking foot. This mechanism comes with all three. It just slides on and it allows you to, go through those thicker layers in quilting or bag making, but this is shared universally on all three models. All right, so now that we've gone over all that these machines share in common, let's talk about what makes each one unique. So I'm going to start kind of down at the bottom of the triangle with the TL-2000 QI. It has all those little bells and whistles we just went over, but a couple things that you do lose is that speed control that I had mentioned. So Speed control allows you to set the maximum speed that you want to set when you're fully pressing down on your foot pedal. You do lose that on this machine. You see here on the 2010, you have the tortoise and the hare where you can kind of set it. On the 2000, you have to solely control it with your foot pedal, and that's it. Another thing that you lose is the sub-tension unit. The sub-tension unit is located right up here. You can see there's a little dial missing. There's just this metal piece sticking out for your thread. Here on the 2010, you have the sub-tension unit that's also on the TL-18, but that's something that you do lose. It's just extra control and support when you're playing with different weights of thread, especially if you're working with like industrial thread or really fine thread. This is just another regulator for your stitch quality. You do lose that on the TL-2000.
And that speed control is extremely important because when you're free motion quilting or when you're sewing, it's very easy to accidentally step too hard on that gas pedal.
Right.
So the 2000, that is a big drawback that we would say between the three machines is the speed control. As you can see, the 2010 and the TL-18 both have it.
Yeah.
And that's usually like the deal breaker for a lot of people on the 2000 is because they can't really control their speed.
It can get a little tricky, especially if you're free motion quilting. Free motion quilting is all about consistency and keeping the speed at the same pace.
Exactly.
So here you can set it, whereas here if you apply just a hair less pressure, you're going to notice differences in your stitch quality. So if you are a free motion quilter, I probably would not gear you towards the TL-2000 just for the simple fact of it is a lot easier to get your stitches more regulated in free motion quilting.
Exactly. Perfect.
All right, so still on the subject of what are the differences here, we just talked about the TL-2000, how it doesn't have that speed control in the sub-tension unit. Now we're going to move to the TL-18 and the 2010Q and talk about what's different between the two. It's a very small cosmetic difference, not as dramatic as the TL-2000. You're still going to get that sub-tension unit on both machines. You're going to get your speed control. But now what's really a big difference between the TL-18 and the 2010? Obviously, the TL-18 is a part of the QVP line, the Quilt Virtuoso Pro line. It has this really pretty little purple cover on the side where this is just the sleek white. Now, what is a cosmetic difference in these two machines is going to be the micro lifter. So what your micro lifter does is actually located right here on the TL-18. You can see it is missing from the 2010. The micro lifter is a really awesome feature when you are working with bulk, going over seams, creating bags, free motion quilting on lots of thick layers, and you're fluctuating between layers. This allows you to raise the opening from the presser foot to the plate. So like on all three, if you're not using the micro lifter, it's just going to be a set one. You can control your presser foot pressure. That's the same on all three machines, how hard you want to be applying the pressure onto the fabric. You know, so if you're working with really thin fabric, you're going to apply more pressure. If you're working with thicker fabric, you're going to apply less pressure. So it's not pushing so hard, but it's not changing the height. So what this micro lifter does is a micro amount is released up, so that way you can fit more through. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you here in just a second, but that is a really big deal breaker between the two. I'm going to talk about pressure feet here in a second, but that is a whole mechanism that is exclusive to the TL-18 that you do not get on the 2010. And if you are a bag maker and someone who works with really thick layers, you really want to consider this feature. This is a beast and it'll go through the layers for sure, but having that extra oomph and that extra support to go over bulk is what this micro lifter is going to allow you to do. Another little difference that this machine has that the 2010 does not, the TL-18 has a mounting plate located right here to the right of the stitch plate. This little piece of metal. This one, the TL-2010 does not have that, neither does the TL-2000. That's not a really big deal breaker. It just allows you to be able to screw in your different kind of guides and seam guides a little bit easier so you don't eventually scrap these holes. They do say that the TL-18 comes with a little bit better lighting. I don't think it's very much to brag about, but that is something that they advertise in the differences between the TL-18 and the TL-2010. All right, so let me go ahead and demonstrate that micro lifter for you in the TL-18. So your micro lifter is located on the very top right next to your bobbin winder. It's right behind it. This little guy is what's going to allow you to raise up that presser foot off of the plate. So you're going to want to make sure your presser foot's down so that way I can demonstrate it the best for you. This is up, so I'm just going to prop it down, and then we're going to go up to our micro lifter and we're going to loosen it, and you're going to see a couple grooves. So you're going to see the first one, and then there's a second one, and then the final one is red, meaning, or there's a third one, I'm sorry, and then the fourth one is red, meaning that you really shouldn't go past this point. So David, I'm gonna have you go down here, and I'm gonna just screw this back down. Watch this presser foot go down as I'm not using it anymore. So let's just act like I'm raising it up. This is the micro lifter completely off. It is tight to the machine. I can't get anything underneath unless I wish to open it and drop it down. Now I'm going to raise my micro lifter all the way up to that red line as I just showed you. Watch what's happening to the presser foot. It is lifting up.
Oh, wow.
And we're gonna stop at the red line, and now watch what happens. My presser foot is still down. Now I have more space to do bulk, to go over a bulky, tougher area with a lot more ease. And this again is the exclusive feature to the TL-18. No other TL model offers this feature. And this is easily, you know, you can not use it or use it. It's very simple. You can also correspond this feature with your presser foot pressure too. And I think I'm gonna do a separate video for that, but I just wanted to demonstrate how much that goes off. So you can really see it there.
That would really glide over some bag straps.
For sure.
Or just thicker layers.
All right, so now let's talk about the accessories that come with all three machines. We already talked about what they all share, and it's simply just that walking foot, the even feed foot that you saw. But now what's the difference? So here is the little TL-2000 QI, just with its walking foot and all those other features that all the machines shared. Next up, we have the TL-2010Q. You get that even feed walking foot again. You do get the add-on of the 1/4 inch free motion quilting foot, so it's nice and closed. It gives you a 1/4 inch around something if you were echoing in a panel, let's say, and then you get your adjustable zipper foot, so you can either put this on the left or the right, and that's all that comes with the 2010. Now moving on to the top of the pyramid is going to be the TL-18, and you can see this one comes with a lot of accessories. So you do get that walking foot that we mentioned. Oh, another thing I want to say is that all three machines come with the standard presser foot. So this little foot that's just on the machine right now, when you physically take it out of the box, that is what's on the machine from the factory. That gives you a scant 1/4 inch, you guys. So that's really important for you to know too, because that's a question I get asked all the time. So here's the TL-18. So here's your walking foot right here, okay? Now you're gonna get the compensating 1/4 inch foot. This foot is awesome for working with thick layers because as a heavy guide. I have a video on that. I don't think it's on YouTube, but we're probably gonna post that here because I've already made it, and it's really, really nice to know the differences between the 1/4 inch feet. We have the rolled hem foot here. This is gonna help you achieve a rolled hem if like you're making napkins or doing something with garment. Next up, you have the 1/4 inch presser foot with the guide. This is really helpful when you're doing any kind of piecing or working with just 2 or 3 layers. Next up, we have the adjustable zipper foot. The adjustable zipper foot, you saw that on the TL-2010. And again, you can put this on the left or right. And then you get 3 different free motion quilting feet on the TL-18. So you're gonna get the open toe one, so that way you have good visibility when you're free motion quilting. You get the 1/5 inch free motion quilting foot. That's a tongue twister. And then next up we have the 1/4 inch one that we saw on the 2010. And then we have the guide bar for the walking foot. This is an awesome tool to have if you are someone who loves doing straight lines, diagonal lines. You want to make sure everything's evenly spaced out. You're going to want to have some guide bars that go onto this. And then the final little extra accessory you get is going to be these little guys. Looks like a little set of glasses. And how this works, let me grab the foot pedal for you. So remember how I said earlier in the video, the foot pedal, when you heel click it, it cuts the thread for you. What this little guy does is it just snaps onto the bottom like this. So that way when you're sewing, you don't accidentally press it and cut your thread. And for motion quilting, that could really be like a nightmare. So this is really nice because it just allows you to stop that. So I just want to make it very clear that even though this machine comes with all these grand accessories, and this one comes with 3 and this one comes with 1, all that you saw there is available for these machines. So this is not something that's exclusive to the TL-18. You can definitely purchase these and add them on. All of them are available on JukiJunkies.com. And there's actually a ton of other really popular add-ons that don't come with any of these machines. That video is actually going to be linked in the description of this video. So that way you can see what people get, what they're used for, and what's really helpful to add on to any machine that you might be getting. All right, so now we've talked about what all the machines share, what they don't share. Let's kind of apply that to you and why a specific kind of sewer would get this machine. So we know these machines are straight stitch. They're very, very versatile. They're great for the person who's doing garment to bags. All three of these machines here are gonna be a great add-on to your sewing room. No perfect sewing room has just one machine. That's just not a thing. So this is a really great machine to add that is a power horse and that can do a lot of variety of kinds of sewing. So let's start with the TL-2000 QI. So we know that we don't have our speed control and that we lose that subtension unit. So this machine might not be the best for someone who's free motion quilting, just because you do have to control your speed only with the foot pedal. This would be an awesome machine for the person who's just doing garment sewing or who's doing just piecing, quilt, small little projects. This is definitely the most budget friendly out of all the three machines. You can check out all the pricing for this right on Juki Junkies. We'll add that in the description as well. But this is just the great little all-purpose machines, the workhorse to add to your collection that's very budget friendly. Next up, we have the TL-2010Q. This machine does offer that speed control and it does offer that subtension unit with the extra little accessories. So this machine's gonna be kind of the happy medium between both machines. This is gonna handle the piecing, the garment, the bag making. You would be astonished at some of the beautiful bags people make with this machine. It does, offer a lot, and it is a workhorse. It's going to be able to go through all that, and it's also very budget friendly as well. Like I said, it kind of meets you in the middle between these two machines. Moving on to the TL-18, this machine offers a little bit more. So along with all the accessories that you get with that machine, that kind of does give you the price difference between this and that when you start adding them all together. Each presser foot's around $50 or so. You're kind of there at the price difference, but you're really paying for that micro lifter. That micro lifter is a deal breaker for a lot of my bag makers out there. And if you are somebody who does quilting on thick layers, t-shirt quilts, wool batting, something that offers a little bit of thickness, that TL-18 is definitely something to consider. And I know there's a price difference, but it is something to consider, so you don't struggle working with thicker materials, going over the bulk, and just having a lot more of a simpler sewing experience. So while these machines all handle a lot and they sew through so much layers and they're just workhorses, there is something to consider when you're a bag maker or if you're doing lots of thick bulkiness in between these two machines. Okay, a machine that's not here today is the TL-2020 PE. That is a limited edition machine that's out right now, and you're probably wondering, where does that kind of fit in this scale? So I just wanted to talk about that really quick. The 2020 would kind of sit like right in between here. Although it's the most expensive out of the three machines, it still sits right here because it is basically a copy of the 2010. Everything else is the same. You get the speed control, you don't have the micro lifter. Everything is the same. It has that beautiful silver paint color that's unique to that specific model, and then you get even more accessories than you do on the TL-18, but you still only get this machine. You don't get that micro lifter that you get here. So that is something to consider too. If you want all those accessories, but you love the 2010, you don't really need that micro lifter, then that exclusive 2020 might be something to consider.
And we've still seen a ton of people do amazing bag making with the 2010.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
A lot of people purchase the 2010 because they can afford it over the 2000 and they really want that the speed controller. But they can't come up with the money for the TL-18. But honestly, the 2010, you can still do everything the TL-18 does. It's just, if you really want to go over things with ease and you really have that few extra $100, go ahead and get that TL-18. If you don't have the few hundred extra dollars to get the TL-18 or the 2010, the 2000 can still do everything both of the 2010 and TL-18 can do. Yes. Now it's just going to be making your life easier if you can afford the extras that these machines offer.
Yeah, and you can always purchase, maybe you don't want all of those accessories that the TL-18 comes with. You can always pick and choose through what you want and what you don't want and add those on to yourself, and you'll have those right on the website. So thank you guys so much for, you know, just watching this video. I hope we answered a lot of things for you today. If you still have questions and you still want to talk to us, please feel free to reach out. We would love to kind of, you know, just make sure this is the right fit for you. If you have specific projects you're working on, do not hesitate to reach out to us. I'll put where you can contact us in the description, but David has our little handy dandy business card here for you guys. So don't hesitate to call. We would love to make sure we get the right machine for you. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day.